child is dead. Why did you wait so long to bring her here? Điểm cái châu. Would you please try to find out why? How do you ever get over the idea that you're going to make such a small impression on all this suffering, even in a lifetime? I remember when I first came to China. An old missionary said to me, he said, I must do what my hands are capable of doing with the best of my ability. But I must leave the statistics up to God.
Dr. Wallace, they say they were afraid to bring the child before. Only in desperation did they come now.
Desperate. What were they afraid of?
They heard much talk in town that this hospital is a bad place, and the New People's Party has told them to stay away.
Bill Wallace was no super saint. The death of the little girl had broken his heart. One of the staff members tried to console him by saying, perhaps it was God's will. But Bill Wallace never accepted that kind of reasoning. The child's death was needless. It was not God's will. It was a result of neglect and delay. He was infuriated that the communists had intruded. The endless intimidations and pressure of the new government over the past months were mounting, and Bill was on the verge of quitting. He had been debating with himself all night. Now he needed someone to listen.
Just can't get that little girl out of my mind. I think I'll take a long walk. Want to go with me?
Do you think it will look all right?
In the middle of the afternoon? Doubt if anybody can make something out of that. But we'll stay in clear view of everybody.
Let's go.
You know, Everly, time may come soon when our work here in which I was finished. We'll have to look for another place to serve. Been doing a lot of thinking these past several hours. There are other places to serve where medical missions might be just the key to some locked door, like Sumatra, Java, Borneo. Many places just crying for medical missions. They say Peter Parker opened China at the point of a lancet. But I believe that a hospital can open doors in all these places for us. The Foreign Mission Board has got to reassign those of us who are still in China someplace. I know I'm not yet ready to retire.
I don't know why we couldn't begin work in those places. We could get some of the missionaries from China that have gone there already to help us.
Yeah. I sure miss them. Such marvelous people. We had such good times together. I wonder how they're doing.
It has been lonely here without them, especially since Martha left.
You know what we should do?
What?
Why don't you cook up a batch of southern fried chicken, and let's take a group from the hospital out to Chicken Basket Island for an old-fashioned picnic. What do you say?
Great.
Bill Wallace was amazing. To relieve the tension and strain at the hospital, he purposely provided a time of diversion and recreation. I knew now that Bill had no intention of ever leaving China.
Well, you don't seem to be enjoying the picnic very much. After all, it was your idea, you know.
Just before we left, I got a message from the party lead in town. He wanted to see me.
I wondered where you disappeared to.
Evidently, they're asking for another tax on the hospital. If they keep making these demands, we can't operate this way. We'll be out of business.
What are you going to do?
Well, I told them no uncertain terms how I felt. I think I pounded on the table with my fists a couple of times. But I tried to impress upon him that the hospital was a mission of mercy. It's been there for years. We were pushed out, the people would protest.
Do you think it did any good?
I don't know. But I think the time has come for a showdown. You know, Evel, it's difficult for me to even think about leaving China.
It's been your life for a long time.
It's my home. Ciao, ciao.
Dr. Wallace, may I see you a minute?
Of course.
I have encouraging news for you. The party council has met, and it has agreed that the Stout Memorial Hospital is too vital a part of the community to risk losing it and the services of the famous Dr. Wallace. The tax we mentioned to you has been repealed.
Well, this is good news.
We want to work with you and your hospital, not be your enemies and drive you away. Now, if you excuse me,
Of course. Boy, what a relief.
Yes, but can you trust them, Bill?
But Ever, we've got to. This is the showdown I've been waiting for.
I felt like 1,000 eyes were watching my every move. It was difficult to know who were still our friends.
You nurse from hospital?
Yes.
Come quick. Baby very sick.
Where is the baby?
In Sampan.
Hai Pinto.
Hai Sampan.
Compelled to go with the man if there was a sick baby. As the sampan moved out into the river, I began to wonder if I had done the right thing. Just a week before, 3 members of the hospital staff had mysteriously disappeared. A strange feeling gripped me. I feared I would never see the Stout Memorial Hospital again.
Sampan? A sick baby on this sampan? Lido Yamo Pang Simon's eye?
Miss Hayes, please come on board. Don't be afraid. I must talk to you. Dr. Waters is in great danger.
See Miss Hazley?
I heard her say she was going to do some shopping. If you want me to find her?
No, I'll find her. Peanut?
Is Dr. Wallace in?
Yes, Miss Hay. He's sleeping.
这怎么样？被整好鬼啊！从晚连晚饭都唔食，一早就瞓啦。聽日一早起身食手術，我去。
I'm sorry. No. I won't bother him if he has to be up early for surgery. I'll see him then. Ciao, Tao.
早唞。
Ciao, Tao.
早唞。
The communist must convince the people he's a bad man. That is why the repeal takes. They cannot let him leave the country and remain a hero. They must have the people believe all Americans are devil. Dr. Wallace must get away at once before they arrest him on a false charge. I'm working on a plan to get both of you out of China as soon as possible.
Miss Hay, soldiers take Dr. Wallace away.
Every don't get mixed up in this. There's been some mistake about finding a gun in my quarters. As soon as there's been a thorough investigation, they'll realize I never owned one.
But they can't treat you as if you were some sort of a criminal.
It'll be all right. Now, the important thing is you take care of yourself. Then whatever you do, don't say anything that gets yourself in trouble with that official.
But, Bill!
I'll be back as soon as I get it straightened out. Now, the important thing is I'm worried about the woman in Ward C. She's expecting a baby. There may be complications. So you keep an eye on her, okay?
ちょっとね。耳。
Oh, yes, Miss Hayes. I have expected you. Please sit down. You must excuse me for having dinner at this hour. I've been so busy all night, I was unable to eat. Your orderly was kind enough to prepare me this. And how, may I ask, is the baby who was so sick on the champagne? Improved, I trust.
How is it possible that you could arrest Dr. Wallace?
We were forced to. Knowing that he was a spy for your President Truman was a shock to me also.
That's a ridiculous charge, and you know it.
This hospital is a den of spies. You've all been found out. Now, you want to tell me how many of your nurses are part of your treasonous activities? Or were they deceived, like you and Dr. Wallace tried to do with us?
We here at the hospital are engaged in healing the sick and the suffering. We are here for no other purpose.
Miss Hayes, you have a way of speaking which is as smooth as Dr. Wallace. Both of you try to twist the words for your own benefit. Now that is all changed.
Your charge against Dr. Wallace is false. It won't hold up.
Did you know we found a pistol hidden under Dr. Wallace's bed? Now let me ask you this. Why would a doctor who only supposes that's good would do such a thing?
Dr. Wallace never even owned a gun.
So he told us. But the evidence?
Any one of your men could have placed it there.
They were witness when we discover it. That is the important thing, eh? I'm sure we will uncover some more radio sets or spy material when we search further. I must tell you, Miss Hayes, that you are under house arrest. Please do not try to leave the hospital grounds, or even try to treat a sick baby on a champagne. Oh, yes. One more thing I'd like to mention. Members of our party object strongly to the brightness of the cross on your church. They ordered it turned off. For good.
We were refused permission to notify the American Council or the Foreign Mission Board. Dr. Wallace was paraded throughout the countryside, still wearing his pajamas. They held derisive placards over his head, charging him with crimes against the people. He was then taken to the center of Wu Chao, where a denunciation meeting was held for people to bring accusations against him. But not one Chinese came forward to condemn him. Rastus left every day with food for Dr. Wallace, but no one else was permitted to see him.
Dr. Wallace, you're trying my patience. For 3 weeks, you have made no effort to cooperate with us. We have all the proof that you are a spy for the United States. The party demands that you sign this confession.
You have all the proof, and why do you need a signed confession from?
Because the People's Party requires a public trial, legal and justified.
I suppose those are more landlords being given a just trial?
You're in no position to be clever with me.
This so-called evidence that you have against me wouldn't be sufficient enough to people who shout, but they might just believe a signed confession. I cannot sign this because it is true.
Dr. Wallace, put yourself in my position. The party has given me orders to get a signed confession from you. Now I'm willing to strike a bargain with you. If you will notice, in this revised copy of the confession, I have refuted the worst points of the accusation against you. See?
But I will still be brought to public trial and judged guilty.
It's merely formality. Let me remind you, I'm being exceptionally considerate in your case. If you will sign this confession, the party has agreed to grant you amnesty, and you will be free to return to the United States.
You mean by merely signing this confession, I'll be free?
Exactly.
And the reputation of the hospital and all that it represents will be completely discredited. You know, I will never sign that.
I suggest you return to your cell and think it over, Dr. Wallace.
There's nothing to think over. You know, I've been quite naive. Your system of government and my beliefs are poles apart. I knew that. But I thought we could get along because I believe the healing of sick bodies transcended any political barrier. But I was wrong. Yes, you won China for a while. But you will not last.
We will last.
You will not last. Because to you, individual man is nothing but a tool. Sooner or later, the nature of the Chinese will rebel. Because these people must have personal dignity. These people must be able to say, this is my land, this is my rice, this is my choice. And you will not win. Because I know these people.
What I had feared these past weeks finally happened. Bill Wallace was dead. How he died remains a mystery. It is known his presence in China at this time was an inconvenience to the Communist Party, but beyond that, we don't know. We were told to bury Bill in an unmarked grave, and they insisted there be no service of any kind. I was given 24 hours to leave and instructed to take only the bare necessities and nothing of Bill Wallace's. In a tribute to his friend, Catholic Father Thomas Brack said, Bill Wallace's life was a never-ending round of charity. The only possible sentence the communists could have passed on him was that he went about doing good.
Goodbye, Lee. Don't forget all the wonderful things Dr. Wallace taught you. Maybe someday you can help others the way he helped you.
I will try.
Bill Wallace's grave didn't remain unmarked for long. His many friends in Wu Chao took up a collection, and in spite of the warnings from the Reds, they erected a monument to the doctor they loved so much. No amount of communist propaganda could change their feelings for the tall man they lovingly called Wai Sam. I refuse to count Bill's life a tragedy. It was a beautiful life, lived with a magnificent purpose that was and is being realized. I keep remembering the scriptured passage the Chinese inscribed on his monument. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain.